Hi. Okay, today is our last live, and I am going to be teaching you guys my under eye method in depth. And actually, hold on. I'm gonna plug in my little microphone real quick. I forgot to do that. Okay, can you guys hear me okay? Hopefully so. I'm just gonna clip this right. Oh, maybe I'll come up here. I think that's better. I don't know. Is that gonna stay? I don't know. I don't know if this is any better. How's that? You guys. Hold on. Let me just button this. Promise we're going to get to this live. I feel like I look like my grandma in this plaid shirt today. Oh, this is going to drive me nuts if this keeps flopping over. We got to get this to stay. Okay. Okay, I'm fine with that. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So I am going to walk you through my routine, but I'm going to be heavy emphasis on the under eyes. And if you saw my post I posted today, I had you guys drop your selfies in the chat. And I'm going to do my best to kind of mark up and guide you on where to place the colors. It's really not that complicated. I think just because it's so new, it feels complicated. But hopefully by the end of this live and getting a little markup done on your face, you'll be like, oh, this is so easy. Like I was just making it seem way more complicated than it was. I don't know why, but I swear when I'm live, I cannot see live comments and it drives me nuts. So I'm praying that maybe by some chance I can. Okay, so let's dive into it. So first things first, if you watched my live last night, I talked about this serum that I've been using, and it's fine skincare wise, but like honestly, I use it as a primer because I don't know what's in this stuff, but it makes my skin really grippy, which I love, but not like too sticky, and it doesn't like peel and like a typical primer does. It's just amazing for making your makeup last all day long. So I apply this before my makeup, and then lately I have gone back to my skin tint serum. I loved it last summer when I had a little bit of a tan and into the fall, and then in the winter I started not loving it, and I was like, why am I not loving this? And then I was like, oh, it's because it's way too warm for me. I'm crazy fair. And so what I have been doing is I found this guy. This is a blue corrector that I just got on Amazon, and I've just been doing like 2 swatches of these on my hand, do like a pump of this and mixing it in my hand, and it gets really, really cool, which is what I need. And I've just been kind of wearing it on the lower part of my face where I have some acne scarring. That's really just where I feel like I just want a little bit of like smoothing. It doesn't like, cover everything, but it does just kind of smooth everything out. So I've been doing that. So I love this again. I always loved it, but the color wasn't right. And so it was looking kind of heavy, feeling kind of heavy. I should have known. Anyway, so I did that. Did my brows, got my lashes on. My favorite mascara. Have you guys tried the Tartelette XL tubing mascara? This stuff is bomb, like so good. I don't really have lashes right now because I've been wearing like false lashes for so long. So they're like kind of stubby, and I feel like this makes them come alive. So love this. And I found a new brow pen that I think I now prefer over my original other brow pen that I was using, because look at this guy. It's got like a double, I don't know, can you see that? See, it's like a little double. And then on the other end, it has a single. Whereas the one I was using was just the single fine tip, but I love that this has this, because it just gives you like the most, I don't know, hold on. How do I do this? Backwards, upside down. Like, see those little strokes? So good. And then obviously like, I feel like it stays pretty well. Crap, it's not going off. That's good. Anyway, love this. So I've been using this for hair strokes in my brows, and I always use the L'Oreal Brow Lamination. This is the GOAT. Okay, you guys are like, I don't care. I'm not here for that. I'm here for the actual face makeup. So let's dive into it. So when you are doing this under eye method, it's not that you can't do it without anything else on your face. I just find that you're gonna love it the most. You're gonna love it the most if you even the rest of the skin on your face first. So we always want to do our under eyes last with this method, okay? And so I'm just gonna take, this is Saint's Pilot brush. It's a 4-in-1 brush. I freaking love it. And so I'm just gonna take this end and I'm gonna go into, I've been kind of mixing Cedar and Astoria Contour. I like to mix those two. And I use that as my contour bronzing shade. And so I just kind of apply this around the forehead, up into the hairline. And I've actually been loving adding just a tiny bit of velvet contour just to kind of cool it down a little bit. It's a little too dark just on its own, but it adds this nice cooler dimension to the skin. So if you're looking for a tiny bit more coolness in your contour, try this little mix. You honestly could also just do like Bella bronzer and velvet, and I feel like that would be super pretty. But I just love velvet. It's such an underrated color. Okay. And then on contouring on under my cheekbones, I'm just going to mix a little bit of Cedar with velvet. Blend that in. Okay, so kind of start to see the face come together a little bit. I'm telling you, if you do all of your makeup like this first and then your under eyes last, you're going to feel like you have a lot less to correct. Do not do your under eyes first. I repeat, don't do your under eyes first because you will end up using way too much product and you're going to feel like you need more coverage. But when you can balance kind of everything around it, then you won't feel like you need as much. And I just did Astoria contour on my nose. You can come under the chin if you want, jawline. And I just kind of blend as I go. Okay, and then I like to do my blush next. So contour and then blush, and I have been loving, I always do like pink grapefruit up here in the spring. I feel like this is my spring color. And then pink flamingo. Isn't she cute? Just right on the apples of the cheeks. Okay, and then we are going to, you can wear your foundation at this point. Like you could apply a foundation everywhere except for your under eyes. I'm not saying you can't wear foundation. I just prefer not to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spot brush, which this is the brush that you want for your under eyes. And every time I send recommendations, I see people get everything but the brush. And I'm like, it's not going to work without the brush because you can't use your fingers. And I have yet to find a brush that is as fine and like the perfect amount of fluffiness as this brush. Like I'm not just trying to sell you another product. Like you literally need this brush for your under eye method. So get this brush if you don't have it. But I'm going to take this small side and just kind of spot treat some little red spots that have come through. And I'm just using Y01, which yellow orange 1. So yellow orange is pretty much what I recommend anyone use for little tiny blemishes, red, like little red veins, anything like that. Okay. Just gonna tap her out. And it just kind of makes those little distracting spots disappear, which is what I want. And I feel like with that grippy serum underneath, it just holds on to this really well. Okay, let's see. Where is, nope. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. If Facebook will let me, sometimes it's like weird and doesn't let me zoom. Okay, so let's focus on our under eye method. Are you ready? We're going to take this fluffy side of the spot brush, okay? And I'm going to take Cedar. Cedar is just a little bit lighter than Bella Bronzer, but they're very similar. Both can work. So don't freak out if you're like, I have Bella. You can use Bella too. I just don't have Bella in my compact. So Cedar. And like, this is how much product I have on my brush. Okay. And the very first time you do this method, please go sit in front of a window in your house. Don't try to do this in your bathroom. Like, don't try to rush it. Like, when you're getting ready for work, if it's early in the morning and the sun isn't out, like, try to do this on a weekend when you're not working in the morning and you can actually see what I'm going to explain to you as I'm live. So, okay, you've heard me say apply the bronzer to the lighter areas around the eyes. All I mean by that is anywhere where there isn't a substantial amount of darkness. So if you actually look at your under eyes, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I can see right here that it's a little bit darker than it is here, right? So you're like, that's really dark. So I'm not going to put bronzer right in that inner corner. Now, is it going to kill you if you do? No, but we're trying to not layer product. We're trying to avoid layering too much product because if you over apply with this method, you will get creasing. But if you follow the steps and do it the right way, you should not crease, okay? So we're going to take this bronzer and just have a little mirror or something as you're looking in the, with natural light. And we're just going to put that darker color in the lighter areas. So I'm just avoiding the darkest points or the darkest area, which is really usually the inner corner. Some people might have pigmentation right here or sun damage. So it's going to be a little different on everyone. So that's why I teach you to just look for those lighter areas. Like I know I saw Stephanie shared a photo in that post and she said one eye has pigmentation and one eye is really light. And I'm like, this is the perfect method for someone like that because all concealer is going to do on someone with under eyes like that, it's going to enhance the brightness that's already there. It's going to make the wider part whiter and it's going to make the darker part look gray and muddy. It's going to make it look kind of raccoony a little bit. And so it's like, it's a Band-Aid. It works okay, but it's not going to give the same effect. So that's why I love this because what I would tell Stephanie to do, someone who has two different eye type, under eye types, which most people do, I would say on the lighter area, the eye with the lighter area, you're just going to put bronzer all over. And then the area where you have the pigmentation, you're going to put bronzer around it. And then you're going to brighten up the pigmentation area. So we're just trying to balance the color underneath our eyes. That's all we're doing. So, okay, does this make sense? Gosh, I'm like so annoyed. I can't see comments. Either you guys just have nothing to say or I'm not saying anything. Okay, so just gonna kind of helps to like move your eye around a little bit. But we don't need a lot. Do you see the difference there? Do we see that? Just kind of subtly diminishes. If you understand, like if you've ever painted something or if you understand shadows and light, when we add a shadow to something, we're diminishing it. When we add light to it, we're bringing attention to it. Concealers are always lighter, right, than our foundation. So they will draw attention to everything underneath your eye. So if you have a bag line, if you have puffiness, if you have pigmentation, it might even the color, but it will also bring attention to everything. So we don't necessarily want to do that, right? As we get older, we're like, hey, we don't have, teenage 20-year-old skin anymore. And, oh, Stephanie, I was just talking about you. I just saw you jumped on. I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but you'll have to go back and watch. Okay, so same thing on this eye. I'm just going to come Like, see that little light area right there? I actually don't mind putting bronzer underneath veins because veins are blue and green and bronzers usually are red and orange. And what's the opposite of blue and green? Red and orange. So it does actually help neutralize veins really well. I mean, you can still see it, but it's definitely diminished, right? That's kind of what we're going for. So I'm just kind of lightly tapping this around. And that's step number 1. Okay? It might take you a few tries. You might not love the first or second round, but once you learn your under eyes, here's the thing. Now that I know where the light areas underneath my eyes are and where I want bronzer, I don't have to do it in natural light. I can do it in my bathroom because I've just memorized like the areas that need, that color. Okay. Step number 2 is now we go back in and we're going to brighten darker areas. Okay. So if you have a lot of people have darkness here naturally because of where blood flows, right? Or maybe you have darkness all the way underneath around. We are just going to target the darkest points within that darkness. If that makes sense. Okay. So I usually use this yellow orange, and I'm going to take this tiny small side here, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of product. I always tell people this is such an adjustment from concealer because we're not trying to create a really bright under eye. We're just trying to balance the skin underneath the eye. So it's not necessarily going to illuminate your under eye, but it will make it look really smooth and make you look well rested, and people won't even know that you're wearing something underneath your eyes. That is the goal of this method. So if you're like, I don't want that, I want to look like I'm wearing makeup, I look like I have this brightness, then you might not love this method, and that's okay. But the payoff of having smooth, balanced skin and no creasing, in my opinion, is worth not that brightness, okay? Because also, like, it just can look so unnatural when we're too bright underneath there. Okay, so all I did was I just tapped a little bit of that yellow orange just right on the inner corners. And these correctors are true correctors. And what I mean by that is they're not a mix of colors. It's truly just yellow and orange. And that's it. That's all you get. Most correctors on the market they're not true colors. And the reason why I like these correctors over anything I've tried, trust me, you guys, I've been testing so many different correctors because I have a lot of people outside of the US and Canada and the UK that can't get these correctors. And I've been trying to find something that works as well, but they're almost all this like creamy liquid. And I despise liquid underneath the eyes because it almost always dries and settles and it will always crease. Whereas a cream just moves and works so much better with the skin. I'm not saying there isn't a formula out there that's better than a cream. I'm just saying I haven't found it yet, personally. So I've tried a bunch of different correctors and just nothing has come close to these, but I also know that these aren't as like full coverage as maybe some people want. So in that case, if you want to use like a Saint like highlight cream that's a little bit more opaque, meaning it has more coverage, you can do that instead. So for example, I had a client, instead of using OY1 or OY1, I was like, why don't you try using Mango or a little bit of Papaya or Goddess? It's going to give you a little bit more of that coverage if you want, but you just have to be really delicate with how you use it because it's not as sheer. So the chances of it creasing are more likely. But the good news is that even Saint's highlights are still less opaque than most other creams, meaning they shouldn't be as heavy or creasy as other creams. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so yellow orange on the inner corners. Why yellow orange? Because most people have purple and blue. Opposite of purple and blue is yellow orange. Now, if you just have pretty like shadowing and darkness, then you might just need a true orange, which is this 03 here. And so I love to use this color on shadow areas. Now, if you have hollowness, hollowing is usually like a shadow, right? From just having deeper set eyes. And I always tell people, you cannot erase bone structure. Like, you're not going to get rid of your hollow under eyes. Like, the reality is they're there, but we can help kind of disguise that line a little bit by playing with these lights and shadows. But whereas a concealer would emphasize that line, right? Like, how many of us have deep set eyes? We put a concealer on a bag or a line and it's just like so pronounced. It just makes it louder. This is just going to diminish it. It will not erase it. It will diminish it. Okay. I mean, makeup can be magic, but it can't alter structure. The best thing you can do for bags and hollows and all the things are those under eye exercises. I can't even tell you how much my hollow under eyes have improved since I've started doing these exercises. Like, my lines are so much less than they used to be that I'll do my makeup and I will forget to even do my under eyes now because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, they look so much better. It's not as dark here. I don't have as much, going on right here. And I'll also tell you, like, sometimes certain shadowing and light can actually emphasize those hollows more. Like, sometimes I'll look in the phone and I'm like, oh, I see it. But then I look in the mirror and I'm like, I don't really see it. So just kind of have to play around with lighting and see what works best for you. So I have this like little dark spot here. I'll just put a little bit of that 03 there. And then I like to add a little bit of 03 to this vein. Just give it a little bit more coverage. And you can just tap like this or blend. Come right here in this hollow. And don't be afraid to play around, you guys. Like, there's no perfect way to do it. Like, everyone's under eyes are different. So don't be afraid of like, okay, let me try putting this orange next to the line, versus on top of it. Let me just kind of play around with the colors and, see what looks better. Like, sometimes I'll get a little bit too bright right here next to this bag line. And I'm like, you know what? I want it to be, I actually don't want to bring a lot of lightness there. I want to darken it up again a little bit because it's going to balance that line better. So you just kind of mess around with it, but that's what you do. Okay. I feel like my lighting today is actually kind of awful. Let me see if I can fix this a little bit. I don't know if that's going to help. Okay. So next up, I also feel like this makes a big difference, is I love to take velvet, and I've done this on so many women, and I just think it's so pretty. It's like the most gorgeous violet brown. And the reason why I like this shade of brown is because almost all of us have like this purpley tone along our lash line, right? Just because of blood or whatever. If we're more in that light to medium range. And so I will just take, you see how I already have this natural shadow here? We all have natural shadows around our eyes. And I feel like this is just the most natural color to enhance that shadow. If you have really deep set eyes like me, you're going to want to come all the way up like on the brow bone. You do not want to have a bunch of light right there because that's just going to make your eye look heavy. Whoops, a little too much. So I just kind of sweep this around. And I feel like it helps balance my eyes. Hold on, need a mirror. Okay, and then I will take the same color and I'm going to bring it along my lower lash line and flip over to the other side of this guy. And I just do it right along that lash line, and I feel like it just helps kind of thicken up the lower lash line. Sometimes I can go a little too heavy-handed. And then it just adds some nice definition around the eyes. Oh, cancel, hold on. Sorry, trying to move this down a little bit. Okay. And I like to take the same velvet color. I know it looks really dark and scary on the lips, but I feel like it's just a really nice, cool base for me. So just kind of feather it around. And then let me grab. I also really like these Wonder Skin lip liners. So just gonna create this little shadow and then a little bit more precision lining. And buff it out. Okay. And then I got this new liner. This is from Merit. It's like almost exactly like Saint's Plum color, but it's kind of nice that it's in a liner form. So I put that on. I know my lip routine is very special. It's a lot, but I love it. And then I just do a little bit of this pink grapefruit over top, or pink flamingo, either one. They're both pretty, and then a gloss. I don't know, sometimes I'll do my lips actually before I do my eyes, because I just feel like it just kind of brings everything together. But like, do you see? I don't know, like it's just so smooth. There's no like texture. It's just the best. It is truly the best. I have yet to find a method I love as much as this. And anytime I do a makeover on someone in person, I die. I die because I think it's so beautiful. I love being able to just actually see people's skin and not see makeup, you know? Like, you guys have heard me say this a million times, but there's all these makeup tutorials out there, and they slap on all this makeup and it will look so pretty in their beautiful lighting. But then you see them in real life, or, you know, they go outside and it's like all you see is makeup texture. And there's even people that are like normalizing makeup texture. And it's like, yes, that's true, but you can have a really beautiful payoff without that heavy makeup texture. So that is my goal, is to help you guys have that type of experience, especially as we get older. Makeup does not sit well on thin skin underneath the eyes. It just doesn't. And so that's why we want to hydrate. We want to do these facial exercises. We want to use good quality skincare. And then this method is just like the chef's kiss on top. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. A little bit slowed down. I apologize. I don't know why I can't see the comments when I'm live. It's driving me nuts, but I will go back through if there's any comments or questions, and I will get to your guys' pictures that you shared, and I'll tell you exactly what to use and where to use it. Okay? All right. Thank you for joining. This was so much fun. And I will also be sure to send out an email with, I'm going to put together just a little recap of everything. I'll do a video with the exercises, a recap of the products that I used, all that good stuff so that you guys have this stuff forever, because the videos in this group will delete after 30 days. So I'll download them, put it in the document, and then you guys will have it forever if you want. So, okay, thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.